Hey, what is going on everybody, and welcome to Fantasia. For today, we're going to be jumping into another session of Epic 7. Now today, got some more RTA for you guys, and as you can see, we are doing some more mock battle commentaries. So just randomly joined this room, it happened to be the busiest at this point of the day. It's called Me versus Jay, so I guess it started off as a 1v1, but then more people joined, and now we are seeing Kampai versus Kelvin 04. So let's see what will happen from these guys. They both have the RTA frame from last season, so it'll be quite interesting to see. We have a champion player versus a challenger player. Oh, they're assigning first picks. There's 3 pre-ban heroes, so we're not going to be simulating actual RTA here. You're just probably going to see all the meta units banned out. So it could be quite interesting to see how this plays out here. Right, so really hard to tell the frames apart. I think both of those might actually be champion frames. So Kelvin here probably just slowly climbing up in the preseason of RTA. He's not in a guild though, this Kelvin guy, as you can see, whereas Kampai has the guild Raoul. Waiting for people to ready up though. Right, so we have Levy being added in. Oh, okay, so it looks like the other player was not ready here, but we got Levy from Bad Boy 47 representing Asia. So actually it's an Asia versus Asia matchup. We have I guess someone who's still in placements versus someone who's been playing in the preseason in Challenger right now. Pre-bans are coming in. 3 pre-bans on both sides. We see this is quite interesting. We have Edward, Lua, and Aola banned, along with Dilibet and Celilius. Interesting, very interesting. Neither player wants to deal with Dilibet, and it looks like a lot of the openers are banned, right? Lua, Celilius, Ron being picked out on the left side. Okay, so on the right side we see Kelvin going for the DN. Quite an interesting pick into a Ron, because DN's base speed cannot compare, even though she has the 10 speed exclusive equipment. Pilot's being picked out as well, tanking up, I see, with the escort buff. Now the only downside to pilots with the escort buff is that if Ron soul burns and strips that escort buff from her, then she's no longer sharing the damage with the rest of the team, which can actually be kind of bad. You kind of lose that Aureus effect from her, which can come in clutch sometimes. Right, on the left side we see Rimuru and Politis getting picked out. 2 very common counters actually to Ron. Typically Rimuru into Ron is really nice. You kind of deter the opponent from going Ron's S2 before going to an S3, because then Rimuru can steal the immunity and attack buff, and also gain that combat readiness after the extra attack there. Who we see on the right side, Apocalypse Ravi and Researcher Carrot getting picked out. Carrot's actually a surprisingly strong pick as an anti-cleave unit because of her durability, if you couple her with a Aureus type knight. Yeah, so she can load up on the burns. If there's a bunch of squishy units on the opponent's side, she can do quite well. Ravi though is a fantastic pick here. However, the opponent counters with Silverblade Araminta and Vildred. Vildred for the speed imprint, and the Silverblade Araminta though is gonna be a wild card if she manages to get through, and she's able to take a turn to stun the whole team. That can spell trouble for Kelvin on the right side. Sage Ball though as the last pick is a force ban for Levy here. Has to get rid of that Sage Ball, or else you know, he'll cut after Ron takes a turn, but the Ron gets banned out regardless. So we see here the Silverblade Araminta actually taking turn 1, but you can see Apocalypse Ravi actually has immunity on her, which means she will not be affected by these debuffs here, and Carrot actually has a self-cleanse, but Silverblade Araminta loads on the debuffs, and as we can see, the Carrot pulling through, cleansing the stun, and actually gonna retaliate here with a soul burn on the S3. That's a pretty fast Carrot actually, now that I think about it. Oh, look at those burns on that team right there. Rimuru gets to steal the barrier and the heal buff. However, Carrot gets to snipe down whoever he wants as of right now. He can probably even pop the Rimuru because he looks to be pretty squishy. Right, who's he gonna go for here? Gonna pop the Vildred. Okay, and the Rimuru. 10k HP Rimuru. So this thing is probably going to hurt quite a bit. Soul Burning to get the extra cooldown reduction. Not sure if that's the smartest thing to do right here because, oh, but look at that damage. Yeah, because Rimuru's quite squishy and it doesn't look like he's gonna live to see another day, unfortunately. But the Politis is taking a turn here. Yeah, I think Kelvin is going to be taking the bow, because the Aravi, yeah, Aravi is not going to be affected by anything there. That immunity was huge, but even bigger was the Carrot's self-cleanse. People tend to forget that she not only has damage mitigation above a certain threshold of her health, but her self-cleanse is once per turn. So yeah, it was really hard for Levy to try to utilize any control strategy against Carrot there. So proving my point that I made earlier that Carrot's a pretty decent anti-cleave unit. You can load up on the burns, and you can actually pack quite a punch in retaliation. Alright, so we have Epic God 1, the master of this room, putting himself into the fight, and we have Airboy saying, hey, if no one else will go, he'll step into the ring. So we have Crimson XV, the guild, versus the Acolytes. Oh, never mind. Kelvin is gonna go again, so Epic God stepping out. Quite a pleasant room master here, allowing Kelvin to go for a second try, putting himself out, stepping aside to watch the carnage. So we can see Kelvin going up against Airboy. What is Airboy gonna bring to the table? Can he retaliate against Kelvin here? We'll have to see. Spirit Eye Selene as a profile picture actually looks quite nice, actually. She seems to be in the same pose as Asenya on the right there. Kinda like it, kinda like it. I hope that they fix the Fullmetal Alchemist avatars. Roy and Ed just look kind of crooked in their avatar pictures. But with that aside, speaking of Ed, he's actually pre-banned yet again. So we have Dilibet, Politis, Ed, Shu, Politis again, and Rimuru banned out, which means this is the perfect setup for a Ron to get picked out. We have Selene coming out on the right side. Ooh, double Earth stacked against the Ron here. We have Senya getting picked out. Actually a really solid anti-cleave unit. Selene is actually great at deterring non-attack skills. So Ron here probably not going to be using his S2 if he gets through the draft phase. Likewise with Selene, if she's going to be left in, Ron is definitely, you know, not going to be doing any risky plays. Aola, though, kind of strange to be picked out here because you can actually force Aola to do her non-attack skill, which would trigger something like a Selene, but in this case, because Aola has skill null, not going to matter too much in the end. DN also being picked out. DN with Aola is a fairly common strategy to go with because Aola is usually a counterpick into DN, so if you pick the counterpick to your unit with your unit, then you're in a pretty safe position. On the right side though, Airboy picking out the Aravi, safely anchoring down to face this cleave, or this aggressive draft I should say. It's now no longer a cleave. We see DN with the attack buff. It's going to be pretty nice for loading up the damage. Ron as well for the potential defense breaks. We have T. Surin and Spirit Eye Selene getting picked out. Ooh, it's kind of like shifting into an anti-cleave type of situation. Kind of strange to see both of these into a Senya, but we'll see how it plays out. We also see Lilius getting picked out on the right side there in the previous draft turn. Oh, and my man Charles getting picked out. Let's go. All the funny units on Airboy's side. Sorry, Kelvin, I have to vote for the right side here. We have Charles in the place to be, and he is about to go ham. At least I hope so. Charles, Senya, and the Aravi are actually all really slow, relying on C. Lilius to keep up the tempo here. But let's see what Ron can do with this potential S3. Okay, is Charles going to counter? Come on. Let's see the Elbrus proc here. Oh, that hurts though. Look at that. We got the Elbrus proc coming in. Come on, Charles, go for the follow-up. Oh yeah, gonna smash that Ron into the ground, deleting him immediately. And we see Senya going for the passive with the barrier. That actually pushes Tempest Surin up because she's on secret art Sword Storm, or Storm Sword, whatever that artifact name is. Going for the S3 here, and she is gonna be dealing a ton of damage to that. Oh, the Charles gets wiped out with the Sea Lilius. Senya is now unbuffable, and a Ravi is silenced. This is going to be quite devastating here, especially with Aola also putting on the debuffs. We have, of course, the DN, who can now safely go for her S3, loading up on the anti-crit. Anti-crit, as I've said before, is really, really strong into a Ravi because you mitigate a lot of damage this way. However, Ravi does land the hit on the Aola. I'm going to be doing some bit of healing. The Aola is actually quite squishy. It's not a really tanky one. This is something to watch out for. Timeless Anchor, though, on that A-Ravi, gonna have a lot of potential cleansing coming out. As you can see, every single time she's getting hit, she is cleansing all the debuffs. It's just that, luckily for Kelvin, he's actually able to land some of the debuffs afterwards as well, continuously silencing the A-Ravi here. It's gonna be risky, though, attacking the Senya. You can see the Aola taking that recoil damage. Not the best situation to be in, but you don't want to hit the A-Ravi and trigger that Timeless Anchor, because otherwise she's going to cleanse that silence and potentially get a revive by hitting the Aola here. So very smart plays by hitting the Senya, even though he's taking the recoil damage, and we see that A-Ravi takes the turn, can probably finish the Aola off here if he lands a crit, but what is he going to go for? Oh, A-Ravi going for the Tempest Surin. So, it takes 3 hits for A-Ravi to take down a Tempest Surin, because the injury that's applied actually goes into effect while the damage is being applied. So you can see, T-Surin didn't actually fall below half her health. She fell below, she took half the health of what was left after the injury was applied. So you can see, it'll take 3 hits, but T-Surin being on lifesteal, she should be able to heal back up. And oh, here we go, ripping an S3, Soulburn with an attack buff. That's gonna be a ton of damage. But A-Ravi's counter was huge. Actually, this A-Ravi counter could make the difference. We can see here, oh, is the T-Surin going to lap this A-Ravi? Remember, this was a base speed A-Ravi, very, very slow, along with the Charles and the Senya here. Oh, T-Surin might be able to clutch this out right here with an S1. I think this might be it. Yeah, the A-Ravi cannot take the extra hit there, and T-Surin was able to inch it out just barely in this battle. Quite nice, and well played to both sides. Alright, so we have Kelvin being placed in once more. This guildless player here doing work in this mock battle room. Going up against Cowl from the guild Allure, representing Global, going against the Asia player. We see a Master rank versus a Challenger rank in the pre-season. So we'll see how this plays out. Cowl is gonna be going for the first pick, I believe. Is that what they were assigned? And we have 3 pre-bans coming out from both sides here. It's gonna take a little while for them to pick all of their units, and they're gonna have to think about what playstyle they're gonna want to go for. It's kind of like the Epic 7 World Championship, where in the later rounds, with so many units banned, you have a limited amount to work with, and depending on your roster, it could be quite a struggle. So we see Lionheart, Sarmia, Dilibet, and A-Ravi banned out by Kelvin, and for Cowl, we see the Rimuru, Pera, and Ida. So one person deterring the kind of bruiser matchup, and the other side deterring a more aggressive cleave type matchup. Aola coming out with Politis, countering the DN. Very strong picks here, but we see Lua coming out in retaliation on the right side. Ooh, that's kind of nasty. And we see Fire Charlotte. Love to see it. Quite an early Fire Charlotte pick, but she's tanky. She doesn't care if she's silenced by Aola, although the unbuffable is a little iffy there, and she could potentially punish the Politis as well, because Politis do tend to be quite squishy if they're on a DPS build. So we'll see how effective she is in the long run here. Now it is Kelvin's turn on the left side. We'll see what they go for. They're in a little bit of a predicament, right? Because they counterpicked the DN really hard. Lua does actually punish Politis. You can sleep the Politis and then go for your non-attack skill. So Lua's not bad into Politis. Lua into Aola is also decent. You can actually stall for a turn and prevent the Aola from stripping your buffs, utilizing Dian's attack buff for an extra turn, helping your team dish out more damage. But we see the carrot coming out with a Spirit Eye Celine on the left side. In response, we see the right side going for Archdemon Shadow, which could potentially work here, especially into something like the Spirit Eye Celine. And we also see a Mercedes coming out. Been a while since I've seen her in action. Quite nice. ML Kawazu on the left side too. Oh, this is gonna be a spicy match with all these amazing little pocket picks coming out. Politis getting banned out on the left side, and Lua on the right side. I think is the correct call from both of these players. And now, ooh, that's a fast Aola and a fast Spirit Eye going before the DN. So Aola just gonna slam the debuffs out here with an S3. Ooh, Charlotte does resist though, keeping her immunity, which is actually pretty good. It could make a difference. Alright, Selena is going for the immortality buff on the whole team. Diane gets to go. She could just S2 here and cleanse off all of these debuffs on the whole team, which is actually quite... Oh wait, no, she can't! She's silenced. Oh man, I didn't even see that right there. Yeah, that's not going to be really good because now Carrot can go ahead and Soul Burn for the S3, putting down the burns on everyone, Archdemon and the Meru here, which is gonna be quite devastating. Oh, that's a lot of damage onto the Archdemon. Now, ML Kawazu can take his pick on who he goes for. Oh, just goes for an S1. That was very risky here. Resisted the seal from Archdemon, quite lucky. Now, oh, but I see the Charlotte going in for the AoE attack. Dust Devil coming out from the Spirit Eye Celine. Oh my god, look at that RNG. Okay, so the Aola goes and puts Skill Nullifier on everybody. ML Kawazu heals himself, pushes himself up, grants himself immunity and Vigor buff, and now he's looking to snipe somebody down. Aola going to attack the Meru here. And Spirit Eye Celine can finish off anyone she really wants. Archdemon, Charlotte. Oh boy, this is gonna be devastating. Right, so finishing off the Archdemon, probably the right call because a seal before she goes down would have been quite bad. Now Diane gets to go ahead and cleanse the team, put up a little barrier. Charlotte gets to go, has an S3 ready, but there's no use using it because the skill nullifier is on everybody. Now Spirit Eye Celine gonna go for another counterattack on that Charlotte, punishing her for the AoEs. Another Dust Devil proc! That is absolutely insane, taking Fire Charlotte down! And now we see the Fire Kawazu going in, and he is gonna slam that S3 probably into that Meru, gonna finish her off. Oh no, not for the Meru! Allowing her to proc magic for friends! Is this gonna be a comeback here? Who knows? Didn't even finish off the DN, but this Aola might be able to do the job right here. There we go, finishing off the DN, and we see Carrot. If Carrot bops this Meru, it could be it. Oh, it's a counter Meru! It actually went ahead and hit the Celine. Look at this Meru reviving. Oh my god, is she gonna slam that S3 down? We're gonna see a ton of damage coming in, and she actually finishes off two of the units. Now it's Meru and Aola versus Meru versus this Aola and the Carrot, but I think the Carrot is gonna finish things off. There is a burn placed on the Meru. Yeah, we're gonna see it. Oh my god, what a nice little comeback there. Even though it wasn't enough in the end, it was a very, very nice attempt. So Kelvin is going to take the game by just a hair. If that Meru had a bit more damage, then she probably would have been able to clutch it out. Very nicely played on both sides. Very close match. So we have two new players in the ring, Dai Kaiser versus Amel's Cookie. That sounds like a pretty good little bakery name. Sounds quite nice. And I love the Fairy Tale Tenebria with that little frame. It looks quite nice. I guess the Alencia actually looks quite nice in that frame too on the left side. Alright, both of these players getting matched up. We have Silver player on the left in the form of Dai, and on the right side we have someone who's still in placements from Shokuge, and Dai is representing Elegante 2 as their guilds. Both players from Global facing each other off. And let's see what those pre-bans are, coming in quite shortly here. Both players have to decide between 3 units, and to get the most value, you want to pick the units that your opponents are not also pre-banning. Alright, so we see the bans coming in here, and they're going to be, oh boy, that's an interesting set of bans. We have Specialty Change Arowell, Bellion, Senya, Violet, Ron, and Peyra. Very interesting. Daikaiser going for his profile picture. Alencia first picked immediately, and in retaliation we see a Fire Ravi coming out just to counter based on the elements. We see Diane coming out as well. Diane is a little questionable here because Alencia could strip the buffs that are placed on all the units. Now, it's a 50-50 as to whether she'll strip the buffs off of a unit like Fire Ravi. However, it's still a little risky. Ilanov coming out on the left side. Wow, I haven't seen her since her release. This is going to be a spicy game. Wanderer Silk coming in as well. Interesting, because she provides a speed imprint, but not really sure why she'd be picked here if there are no speed contesters, perhaps setting up for some later picks in the draft. On the right side here, we see Arbiter Vildred getting picked out. We saw how good Arbiter Vildred was in the last one of these mock battles, and he turned out to be quite useful. So Arby coming out on the right side, and we see the players hovering over. Tempest Surin decides to switch over to Spirit Eye, and then regular Celine going for the Landy in the end. Landy seems like she would be pretty decent into Alencia, but into Ilanov it's a little questionable, and Wanderer Silk, it depends. Tomoka getting picked out though. Speed imprint on Tomoka could actually be pretty disastrous for Amel's Cookie, especially if she can snipe down that Arby there. Milim getting picked out as well. Fantastic pick as that last choice right there, countering both Arby and Landy. But we see Amel going for the Celine, green Celine there, which is a little weird. Now, probably to counter the Tomoka, right? The Tomoka's S2 is a non-attack skill, but that is the only unit that has a non-attack skill. So we'll see how this works. Alencia being banned out along with DN, so both of those units that we're talking about in terms of Alencia being countered by the Ravi and then Alencia also countering the DN, neither of that will come into play in this match. Wanderer Silk opening up for Daikaiser on the left. We're going to see who she goes for. Gotta be careful though. If he goes for the Celine, he better not use Tomoka's S2, because even though, ooh, actually, that's a lot of damage from that Silk. Don't use your S2 here on the Tomoka, just go straight for the Arby if he is trying to go for it. So there we go, letting it rip. 11k HP Tomoka though, that is a lot of health. Oh, and that is not going to be enough for that Arbiter Vildred, who seems to be on a D-Gen build. This Arbiter Vildred with 16k HP, oh, and living with just a fraction of a health left. You can't even see the green on the health bar. Oh my god, the Landy is gonna rip an S3 here, pushing up the rest of his team above the opponent's Ilanov. Wow, Daikaiser running out of steam here with all 3 of his fast units trying to take out the Celine and the Arbiter Vildred, not able to do so. Alright, Celine is able to go for an S3. Still has the attack down, so probably won't be able to finish off this Silk here, who is actually quite decently tanky. Arbiter Vildred coming out, 82 health out of 17k HP, which is quite nice. Alright, Ilanov getting to take the turn now, so let's see what she can do. Okay, popping the S2 onto that Landy. Good damage coming out from the left side. Each individual unit hitting quite hard. But that RB living, I think, just, that was the big difference, right? That RB living means that there's absolutely no hope for Daikaiser of winning this match, because he can just revive and potentially nuke everything. Milim going in for the Celine. Probably not the best to attack the Celine there because she has the blind debuff and Celine has the evasion. Oh, but we see an Ilanov animation coming in. It looks sick. Hitting that Celine sending her to the Shadow Realm, and we see Arby reviving. Now, the thing is, when you have a degen Arby, he might be lacking in some of the damage that's necessary to finish off some of these bulkier units. Let's see what happens. See, Ilanov surviving here. She also does have immunity, which is quite nice. Oh, Ravi going for the S3, though, hitting the Ilanov, and, oh, actually, hitting the Milim. Sorry, the Ilanov is actually still alive with a crit damage buff. Able to go in, trying to hit the RB, no crit though. Oh, that is just quite unfortunate. So RB going to finish things off with the last S3, and Amel's Cookie takes the game. Alright, so we see Levy getting put in on the left side, matching up against Airboy on the right side. I think we've seen this, maybe we've seen this matchup before, I don't remember actually, but it'll be quite interesting to see if they faced off before, how they're going to adapt to each other's playstyles. Alright, so the match is going to begin here, and we're going to see what these pre-bans are. Now, the pre-bans can actually tell you a lot about each person's playstyle. If you see a lot of tanky damage mitigation units or counter-attack units or extra attack units like Rimuru getting banned out, it probably means you're going for a cleave. Now, if you see a lot of fast openers getting banned out, likely means that you want to play a slower paced match. So Levy going and picking the C. Lilius as the opener, Airboy going for the A. Ravi, very solid, very safe pick overall, along with a DN. We see Aola, Politis, Dilibet, Rimuru, Ed, and Shu getting pre-banned out of this match, which is quite interesting. LQC getting picked out, quite good, into an A. Ravi. ML Cowrick picked as well, which is a little spooky. Now, this Celine getting picked on the right side is actually quite useful because the C. Lilius potentially can use her non-attack skills as an opener, and it's going to deter that. It's also going to deter the ML Cowrick from going and giving the attack buff to the LQC, so she's going to lack the vigor and the attack buff if the Celine gets through. So it's going to be a little risky though. See, Lilius could opt for a single like S1 attack onto the Celine. However, it's RNG as to who we brought along. If an ML Cowrick or something like that is brought along and you can't finish off the Celine, you're essentially wasting your whole first turn, giving the opponent to set up with anti-crit buff with DN, and so on and so forth, which can be more difficult for LQC to nuke the A-Ravi through. Silverblade Araminta and Pavel getting picked on the left side. Okay, Teiyu is on the right side as well. We see some spicy picks coming out, along with a Senya as an anchor at the end. So the profile picture getting picked out at the very last second there. Diane getting banned out along with Pavel. Okay, so the faster units are getting banned out here. See Lilius though still taking the opening turn. Now, we're going to see what happens. You cannot use a non-attack skill. Going for the single attack onto the Celine, and oh my god, that luck. Bringing that LQC, finishing things off. Oh no, this is not looking good for Airboy. On the right side, we see Silverblade Araminta going for the triple stun on the Senya, the Teiyu, and the A-Ravi. Oh my god. And now the ML Cowrick is going for the S2. Not even going to attack buff here, even though the Celine is gone. So now we see the C. Lilius going for the S3, going for the vigor buff, allowing that LQC to deal even more damage on the upcoming turn. Now, Teiyu is now enraged because C. Lilius used a non-attack skill. We see Teiyu actually getting pushed back there just a little bit. He has a skill nullifier, so he should be safe for now, but Silverblade Araminta is a little scary. If she's on Abyssal Crown, she could potentially be stunning a bit more. Ooh, that dual attack from ML Cowrick was huge, allowing the LQC to get pushed up above the Senya. Not that the Senya could do anything because she's stunned. And now slamming 40k damage into that A-Ravi. Wow, what a way to deal with her right there. ML Cowl now going for the attack buff on the whole team along with immunity, so that if Senya could take the turn, which she can't, then she would not be able to provoke anyone. So that is quite nice. So ML Cowl going for the S1, attacking the Senya, pushing up the C Lilius, and now we're probably going to see some dual attack action coming here. If the LQC is brought along, we see a stun, or see a crit, that would have been the end of it. Silverblade Armintha getting brought along though. No burns until now, and we see the follow-up attack. 2 burns getting stacked up. No Abyssal Crowns just yet. Not really sure what artifact she's on, unless I missed it earlier. We see the Senya seems to be on some form of resistance here. Okay, and the Silverblade Armintha gonna be finishing this off though with another stack of burns and another wave to finish it off. So there it goes, Senya down for the count, and it's victory for Levy on the left. And that's all the time we have for today. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really do appreciate it. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like, subscribe for more Epic 7 content, and leave a comment down below. Let me know what I can do to improve. And until next time, take care.